He was also more popularly the president of Sujava, which is a Brazilian Java user group that he helped establish, and it later went on to become the world's largest Java community. Bruno is also the leader of Code for Life, where he helps programmers take their careers to the next level. He was also one of the initiators of the Apache Harmony project to create a non-proprietary Java virtual machine. And he has written several books, and then we strongly recommend his book, Best Developer Job Ever. So that's a great book that has a lot of insight on how you can become a really top-notch programmer. So this session, we'll broadly cover different topics through this session. So we'll spend the next 1 hour, discussing the different aspects on how you can go through this journey of becoming a top programmer. And in the end, you could ask Bruno some questions, and we'll also try and make it interactive, and then have some interaction going with respect to some questions and all that during the session as well. So exciting 60 minutes ahead of us. So let's begin. Bruno, over to you.
Okay, so thanks everyone from Starof Java. It's great that you guys are doing this work and bringing speakers and discussions, right? So if you're here, I see we have lots of people here with us. So if you can see us, if you can hear us, please say hello in the chat, right? So just so we can see that we can have a communication. Tell me, which city are you watching this from, right? So tell me where you're watching this from, so we can have we can make a connection here, right? So I'm not sure if I can see the chat. So someone can just say hello on the chat, so you just can make sure I can see it, and then we can have a conversation, right? Because I don't see anyone actually. I just see lots of people on here, but I don't see. Hey, Sashi joined from Mumbai, India. Okay, so yes, it is working. So hey, Sashi, maybe I can only hear you. I can only see you. Maybe, I'm not sure, right? Because Sashi is here with me. I don't know. All right. So if there's any way you can give me some kind of permission, Sashi, that I can see everyone else, it'll be great, because I only see just a few people here. I only see the panelists. Oops. Something happened. Record is stopped. So I'm gonna stop here too, because recording stopped it. We want this recorded for posterity, right? So just make sure. Sashi, anything happen?
I'm sorry, I was talking on mute. So there's another recording that's happening in any case. So there's a backup recording available. So yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, I can go ahead. So Sashi, I don't see anyone, just so you know, right? So this is a very interactive discussion, right? I want to see people, unless no one is saying anything, what I found unlikely, right? But
right. No, yeah. So we have if you could click on participants, that's where you see panelists, and then there's another tab called attendees. So you can see them all there. Yeah.
But I don't see anyone saying anything on the chat, right? So
oh yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Make sure,
so guys, so we need to make this interactive. So just
yes,
start saying hello and just give some.
You're saying that no one is actually saying anything in the chat? Come on, guys, where are you? Right? Okay, I'm thinking here that I'm all alone, and the system is not working very well, and you guys are not saying anything. So that's on you. Come on, tell me where you're from, right? So how can we make this interaction? I see a Q&A session here, right? Some people raise their hands. I see Max here, right? It looks like the chat is disabled for the attendees. Here's the problem, right? Chat is disabled, says Yasser. Okay, so we got to fix this, guys, because how we can make interactive if people cannot say anything, right? So can you give permission to everyone to say hello in the chat?
Right. We can. Yeah, just
okay. Good. Thank you. That's awesome. Yes, because these guys, we're making this live, right? Here's my point, especially for everyone, right? Your career, right? If you want to be an amazing developer, if you want to go amazing in your career, right? You have to be together with people, right? So that's one of the most important things for us, is to have a good network, is to actually be, be available with people. So you guys can say things on the Q&A, right? If the chat doesn't work, you can say things in the Q&A because it looks like the Q&A works, right? So just say hello in the Q&A if you want to. I know it's going to be weird, but if that's what we can, because you know you all of us, we have to be part of a community, right? So I see, for example, I see Max, right? Max is my friend here at Sojava in Brazil, and he's here participating, right? And so basically that is a way for us to actually make a good conversation for us to make. I see some people raising their hands, right? So yes, at least that's what you can do, right? So you guys can hear me well, you can see me well. So people here in the back end will enable the chat in a minute. Actually, I could just go to YouTube, right? How about we do that? View stream on YouTube. Hello. Oops. Now okay. So how, I can go to YouTube, right? And I can see the chat on YouTube if you guys prefer that, right? That's not a problem. All right. So yeah. So I see live chat on YouTube, right? So I'm gonna say hello on YouTube. So I think Zoom is gonna be easier, but if you guys want to join me on YouTube, that's also work, right? So let me just put the link here. If you prefer to type questions in the chat on YouTube, I'm gonna be monitoring that too. All right. Yes, because I still don't see the chat here working. So I'm gonna get started while the guys organize this, and say hello on YouTube if you prefer. That would be good, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear what is going on your career. I want to see what is the thing that really that you really want to advance, right? And that way we can really, and then at least you can have the questions here on the Q&A if that's needed, right? Okay, so yeah, I'm just trying to get my YouTube screen here so I can see the questions there if anyone says anything there. All right. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get started here with some content, and then let's see if we can fix that, right, guys? Please. Okay. So here is the thing. There's a lot of things that we need for our careers, right? So if you want to be a rock star developer, if you want to be a top developer, that's a lot of things that you might need, right? You might need, Java knowledge or some other programming language, or you might need, some understanding of DevOps and architecture and all this kind of things. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But for you to have the most amazing career, right, there's one thing that you have to be pursuing all the time, right? And that is reputation. Okay. For you to have an amazing career, people need to see you as an amazing developer, right? If people don't see you as an amazing developer, if people don't see you as someone that can solve problems, if people don't see you as someone that have the right skills, right? If you don't have a reputation, then your career is going to be very, very limited, right? And I see Sakat saying hi Bruno on YouTube. So YouTube is working. I can see you guys on YouTube, right? All right, good. Okay, so so reputation, right? Reputation is the thing that people believe about you, right? So reputation is not something that you decide, right? Reputation, not, yes, I'm going to be a great developer, right? That's not what reputation is. Reputation is what other people believe about you, right? And so that is something that you can build. You can connect with people. You can see them. You can do all of that, right? I mean, you can listen to them. You can help them. You can do a lot of things, right? But reputation is not something that you decide. It's what other people believe about you, right? About what you did, about what you're capable of, about how trustworthy you are, right? So reputation is something that is a negotiation between you and everyone else, right? So that is the thing that will gonna get your career in an amazing position, right? So when people believe in you, when people believe in what you do, when people believe in your abilities, right? When people trust you, that's another word that we have to say here, right? Trust, right? Reputation is all about trust. When people trust you, that's, oh, I see people in the chat here. So hey Hagwanda, I'm gonna destroy your names. I'm sorry about that, right? Hey Hagwanda, hey Havikash. Okay, good. Hello, Yassar. Awesome. Okay, I see some people. Okay, good. Thanks for the guys that start off to make this happen. Thanks a lot. I see. So tell me where you're watching this from, right? So because that was my question that you tried to answer, right? And it was, you were unable to, right? So hey Ashwi, hey Yassar, good, awesome. Okay, that's working now. So now we're gonna have Chennai, India, say Yassar, awesome. Okay, you know what? One of the things that I need to fix, right, is that I haven't been to India yet. That is something I need to fix. I had just one time, I had an opportunity to come to India, and it did not work in the last minute, unfortunately, right? But so I need to fix that. So Max is from São Paulo, Brazil. That's good. So hi, Vishawash, goods. All right, awesome. That's great. Okay, so now we're gonna have a conversation because, so again, reputation, guys, is this the what we're doing here, right? It's a negotiation between me and you, between all of us, right? So we, there's no way that you can have a good reputation in your career, right, if people don't trust you. And for people to trust you, they have to be able to talk to you, right? How can you trust someone that you have no interaction with, right? So it's interesting that you can only have trust if you see. You can only trust me if you see me, if I am visible. Visibility, right? So trust, reputation, and visibility, they're not the same thing, but they're similar, right? I cannot trust you if I don't know who you are, if I have never seen you, if I have never worked with you, if I have never read your book, if I have never read your blog post, if I don't know that you exist, how can I trust you, right? So reputation is not something, it's different, guys, than skills, right? Skills, right? For example, if you're a good developer or not, that's on you, right? You have to sit down, you study, do projects, right? You can be an amazing developer, right? By working alone in your room, right, for years, and then no one knows about you. But that will not get your career to the right place. Why? Because it doesn't matter how good you are. If you have a bad reputation or if you have no reputation, then no one trusts you. And if no one trusts you, there's nothing that you can actually do, right? So basically, I'm just gonna say at the beginning of your name, so I think it's gonna be so. Hag, right, is saying here that how can you be, what's the best practice to become a superstar Java developer like you? So just look at what you're saying, Hag, right? Just look at what you're saying. You're talking about a superstar, right? So have you guys ever heard of a guy named Bruce Dixon, right? So Bruce Dixon is the vocalist, right? The lead singer of Iron Maiden, right? So I can say that I opened for Iron Maiden a couple of times in my life, right? So Bruce Dixon has been to Brazil, I think 2 or 3 times on campus party, and on 2 of those times, I was the person that was there on stage and talking with people and doing what Sasha here did for me today. So I kind of introduced Bruce Dixon to the stage, right? So Bruce Dixon, it's, by all definitions, a superstar on the music world, right? He's a superstar not on the software development world, but he's a superstar on the music world. And you know what he's, you know what he did for this question that you just mentioned right there, Hag? He said, Bruce Dixon said that I know nothing about music, right? So I'm just saying what he said. So Bruce Dixon said that the difference between a normal musician, right? A normal musician and a superstar, right? The difference between them, it's not the music, right? That's what I want you to understand, Hag. The difference between a normal musician, a superstar musician like Bruce Dixon, it's not the music. Why? Because the music, they both have to have, right? They both have to have the music to be a musician. So you, Hag, you have to be a developer, right? You and me, we have to be developers, right? So what's the difference between a normal person and a rock star? The difference is everything else, right? Because the rock star has reputation, right? The rock star is visible. The rock star, people trust him or her, right? The rock star has a reputation, right? So that's what Bruce Dixon said, right? So the difference between a normal musician and a rock star, it's not the music, right? It's the rest. Is the rock star does shows, the rock star connects with the audience, the rock star is an entrepreneur, the rock star does everything else that the normal musician doesn't do, because the normal musician thinks that to be a rock star musician, he has to be very good at music. Yes, that is true. You have to be very good at music. But if all you do is very, very good at music, you're just a musician. You're not a rock star, right? So that's the same thing for developers, Hag. For a software developer, you can be very, very good as a developer. But if you don't have a good reputation, if you're not visible, if people don't trust you, you're not a rock star developer. Why? Because you have to do the rest, the things that other people don't do. And the cool thing, Rag, is that in software development, there's so few people that do the rest that, you shine very, very fast. That's an interesting thing, right? So again, guys, if you want to be a rock star developer, of course, there's one last thing missing here, right? So what's missing here? There's no trust, there's no reputation if you don't have the skills, right? If you're not a developer, you can't have a reputation as a developer, right? If you don't have the skills, you're not going to have a reputation. Of course, you could fake a reputation, right? But that disappears very fast. That goes away like this, right? That goes away very fast. If you try to fake a reputation, right? The moment, because reputation, guys, something that once it's destroyed, it doesn't come back, right? It's very crazy. Once your reputation is destroyed, then things don't come back. So, so this is the thing that we all have to do, right? In our lives, every single day, right? So there are 5 main abilities, right? And then I'm going to go more in practice here. There are 5 main abilities that you need to have to be an amazing developer. If you do those 5 things every single day, you're going to change your life, right? So what are those? Yeah, I'm just going to say here. I'm not going to try to write on the board anymore, right? 5 things they need to do every single day to become an amazing developer. First thing, you have to read code. Read code is one of the most important skills that you can have as a developer, and one of the least considerate for development. Everyone think, oh yes, I have to write this amazing thing. I have to learn everything about Java and the latest version. I have to do all this stuff. But remember that the most basic skill that you have to be very good at is reading code, right? It's amazing how many professional developers have a bad ability of reading code. if you read good code, first of all, everything you're going to do in your life, right? Every software development you're going to do in your life, there's going to be what? Legacy code, right? Every project, software development project that you do in your life, there will be a huge amount of legacy code. Even the projects that you're starting from scratch today already have legacy code, because you're going to be using libraries, you're going to be using code from other people, you're going to be using the Java VM, you're going to be using your OS, right? There's going to be lots of legacy code for you to do anything in your life, right? And so if you're not able to read code the right way, if you're not able to understand what other people did, if you're not able to run code in your head so you can actually understand what things are, then you can't really do amazing software project, right? So first things, go read code every day, right? Read code you don't understand. Read code from other programming language. Read code on GitHub, right? On open source projects. Read code from the software you're working on in your company, right? Go read code that other developers in your company wrote, right? Go review code review, right? Lots of people say, oh, I just want to write code. I don't want to do code review. Yes, code review. It's an amazing ability that you can have, right? So review the code that your friends did. All of this is going to make you a much, much better developer. Make sense? So that's skill number one. Read code. Skill number two, right? Okay, so I see lots of people here on YouTube, right? Okay, good. All right. So skill number two, for you to be an amazing developer, right? You have to write code. That's the skill that I think most developers like, and most developers think that that's what they have to be very good at. And yes, writing code is extremely important, right? So, but interesting enough, a lot of people think that they need to write code, very sophisticated code and all that, and that's not necessarily true, right? Because of the following skills I'm going to talk in a minute, right? But you have to write code that works, right? For you to write code that works, you have to be very good at the fundamentals, right? You have to be very good at things like collections, right? How do I traverse a collection, right? Things like basic algorithms, right? Things like data structures, right? So you have to be able to write code the right way. And interesting enough, go write code in different languages. I'm not one of the guys that think that, you have to learn one new programming language a year for it to be a great developer. No, it's not about that, right? But you should be able to experiment with programming language, right? I'm not saying that you need to be super proficient in Python, right? Or I don't know, a Scala or Go or any of that thing. You don't have to, right? But if you're able to read Go code and write a little bit of Go code, so you have a better understanding what things are, right? So if you can get a Python script, that reads your files and do something with your files, and you're able to do that, right? If you're able to just kind of run a little Ruby code to improve a plugin from a Ruby application, for example, all of these is great skills for you to have. You don't have to be a master at Ruby or a master at Go to make a big difference, but knowing a little bit, writing a little bit of code in different languages, that's very, very useful, because the more you understand about programming, the more you're going to be better at your preferred programming language. Make sense? So read code, write code, amazingly important, right? Then third skill that's extremely important for developers, you have to deliver code. It's amazing how many developers think that their job is just to write code. It's not. Our job is to get code in the hands of users. If all you have is code that's being in your computer, that's in the code repository, and users are not using it, your job is not complete, right? So we have to be good at delivering code, right? That's why you have to understand a little bit on the whole development process, right? So I'm sure whatever you work at, you're going to have a multiple step development process, right? You have to develop a code, and then you put code in the repository, and there's a code review, and then there is some kind of testing that has to be done, and then that might go to several testing servers, for example, to test things out. There might be automated tests and manual testing, and then eventually that code goes, it's set up to go in production and just either a particular day or automatically, it doesn't matter, right? So then it goes on production, right? And once it's on production, people use it and they have problems, and then there are logs and there's monitoring about your code, and then you have to get that information back. All of these is the process of getting code in the hands of users, right? We don't do all of that just to do it. Just because it's sophisticated. We do all of that because the more we're able to get code in the hand of the users, the better developers we are, right? Especially because if we are not very good in this process of delivering code, what happens? We delay it, right? If we're not delivering code in the hands of the user every single day, what is happening? We are holding up our code, putting that code in a repository, and then eventually the user is going to receive this. Can you imagine what that means? Can you imagine? It's different, right? So for example, if you're in a supermarket, right? And then, I don't know, you're selling milk, right? Or bread, right? Or whatever, right? And there's a milk box or a milk carton in your repository, right? In your back store, right? Where it's saved there. Well, really, there's no one wanting that, right? Because the moment someone wants, they walk in the door and they buy it, and so you get from the back and you give to them, right? So it's there because you're waiting someone to want for it. But your code is different. Think about it. It's a functionality. It's a bug fix. It's something that people are using an old version of your software, right? So they're using an old version of your software that's slower, that has less features, that's it's buggy, right? So they're having to use this version, this old version of your software. And it's understandable, right? There's an old version and we're still working on a new version. That's understandable, right? But think about the piece of code that you wrote yesterday that solves a problem, right? So this person here, they're using every day a buggy software that has a problem, and your code that solve the problem is already done. It's finished, but it's just not available yet, right? We see this all the time. We see new version of video games. We see new version of software. We see new functionality that is just there waiting for what, right? Waiting for us to have enough trust, enough courage to give that to the user. So the user is using a buggy, worse software, buggy, slow software, because you don't have enough courage to get your code in the hands of the users, right? So our job is to get code in the hand of the users, right? So read code, write code, deliver code. We got to deliver code every single day. So if in your company, there's a big gap, a month, 2 months, 6 months, right? Some companies have a year, right? There's a big gap between you writing the code and the user receiving it. We have to shorten the gap, right? To shorten how much? The best companies in the world are releasing code every single day. So it just takes 1 day or even less, right? For your code to be in the hands of the users, right? So the shorter, I'm not saying that you have to do this 1 day. I'm not saying that you have to do automatically. I finish my code, it has to be in the hand of the users. You could, if you have a good process, that's awesome, right? But I'm not saying that, right? Even a few days, it's okay, not a problem, right? But the longer that process takes, the harder it is for you to develop your software. The harder it is for the users to have access to your software, right? And the more expensive it gets for you to develop. That's one thing that companies don't realize much. The longer it takes, the more expensive it gets, right? So for example, when Java went on from having a 6-year release cycle to a 6-month release cadence, what happens is that it became easier, cheaper, and faster to develop Java, right? We're developing Java faster now because we have the release cycle, the 6-month release cycle, right? So that's one thing for you to think about. So read code, write code, deliver code. So those are the 3 most, answering Rag's question, right? What is the best practice? Those are a lot of best practices that you just mentioned here, right? So those 3 things will make you a great developer, but not going to make you a superstar developer, right? But those 3 things make you a developer, right? That gets you in the game, right? That gets you to, you can call yourself a developer because you read, write, and deliver code. Those are the 3 basic things a developer have to do every single day. So just think about it. Have I done that yesterday? If you have not, that's a problem right there, right? Am I going to do this today? Am I going to read code, write code, and deliver code today, right? If not, that's a problem, right? So find something that you can do to read, write, and deliver code today. Make sense? And then what's the next step? So those are the three basic skills. They make you a developer, but they're not the most important skills. They're not the most important practice that you have to do. Skill number 4 is the most important skill that you can have as a developer. Skill number 4 is solve problems. You are a developer because you solve problems by reading, writes, and delivering code, right? But if you don't solve problems, you're not a developer, right? You're just someone that writes code. So you got to solve problems. That is a skill that the more you practice, the better you get, the more you're going to advance in your career, right? So you're going to be very, very good at solving problems. And to solve problems, there's a lot of things here we can talk about solving problems, but to solve problems, it's very important that you listen. One of the most important skills for any problem solver is listening. If you don't know what the problem is, if you don't understand what's wrong, if you don't understand what are you trying to solve, there's no way you can solve problems. Lots and lots of people in the planet, every day, they're trying to solve problems without understanding what the problem is. It's amazing, right? I see this all the time with developers, especially junior developers, many times with professional developers too, right? That's the first thing they do is that they try to solve it. And then you say, what are you trying to solve? I don't know. I'm trying to fix this bug. Okay, so what's the bug? What's wrong? Oh, I don't know. So if you don't know what's wrong, if you don't know what problem you're trying to solve, there's no way you can actually solve a problem. Make sense? So how do you practice that? You practice in your head. You don't even need a computer to practice that. Just look around. Look around your life right now. Look around in your projects, in your company, in your family. When you walk from work from home to work, when you walk back from work to home, look around you and see what are the problems that you see. There's a lot of problems in the world. Every single day, we stumble in many, many, many different problems. And then think about it. How would I solve that particular problem? How would I make this thing better? How would I solve that using software? That's what a developer do, right? So how would I solve that using software, right? You can talk small problems, big problems. You can be small problems like, I don't know, in the morning I have to make my bed. That's a problem. How can I use software to solve that? Is it possible, right? Think about it. Is it possible to use software to make your bed in the morning? It's a very tiny little problem, right? Now it can be a big problem, right? You see people on the streets, maybe homeless people in the streets. Can you write codes to solve that particular problem? Right? So think about it. Think, how would you do it? How can you solve those problems? You don't have to, by the way, solve them, right? But you have to train your brain to think about how to. And once you find a solution, say, oh, I'm going to create a little robot that's, that raise up every day and fix fix my bad, right? And so I can write code for that, right? So then that could be a good thing. So now that you have a solution in your head, think why that solution is not a good solution. Think why that solution would not work. Think why people would not use your solution. Well, maybe having a robot that fix my bad in the morning, is just such an easy job. Maybe no one's going to pay for it. That could be a reason, right? Maybe that's why it doesn't exist, right? So whatever. Think about why your solution, it's not good, why it's not going to solve the problem, why it's going to be a bad solution, right? Because if you don't shut down your own solutions, you're never going to learn how to solve problems, because software development, it's always a trade-off. Everything we do in software development, it's wrong. It's wrong in some ways, right? You solve a problem, you're always creating another problem. So every solution that you give to a problem, it's wrong in some ways, but it might be the best solution at that moment. And that is another problem that software developers have a lot, is that software developers, they want to have the perfect solution. They want to have the most amazing solution ever. And then we keep trying to improve, and we never solve anything because we try to be perfectionist. If you are a perfectionist, that is not a good thing. Lots of people think that perfectionism is that defect that we think it is a good thing. So people ask you on an interview, so what is your biggest issue on your career? And you say, oh, I'm a perfectionist. Because we know it's a problem, but we like to use it. It's a problem that people like, right? So it's a flaw in our skills, that it's a flaw that people like. Oh, you're a perfectionist, so you want a good quality thing. No, a perfectionist is not someone that wants good quality. A perfectionist is someone that is afraid of delivering. It's afraid of getting code in the hands of people. Why? Because the code is not perfect, because the software is not perfect, the solution is not perfect, and I just want to give and put it in the hands of people when it's perfect. And that is a big problem. Why? Because there's no perfect solution, right? It's always a trade-off. How long can I invest in doing this? How much effort can I invest to do this, right? So solving problems, guys, it's a trade-off. What can I do today to get this solved today and then improve it tomorrow? It's a trade-off, right? So solving problems is an amazing skill. Solving problems is the most important skill ever. If you're not a good problem solver, you're going to be limited in your career. So that is what makes you a developer, is a good problem solver. But it's not the skill that will get you farther in your career. The skill that's going to get you farther in your career, is going to make your career grow the fastest, is not reputation, but is what's going to give you reputation. The fifth skill that's going to make you a rock star, a superstar, is share what you know, right? Share what you know. You do something today, you learn something, share it. Share what you know with colleagues, with friends, with people from your family, with the wide world. Doesn't matter. Share what you know. So every single day, you have to read code, write code, deliver code. And then, right, you do those things, read, write, and read code to solve real problems, right? Solve problems by reading, writing, and delivering codes. and then share what you learned that day, right? Write a tweet. Tell your friend, hey guys, I solved this problem here today, and that's how I did it. Write a little code on GitHub that shows what you did. Write a little article on your blog, or I don't know, or answer questions on Stack Overflow on how you solve that problem. Go share what you know. The more you share what you know, the better you get, the more reputation you have, right? When you share what you know, people trust you, right? So here's the secret to get an amazing career, right? It's a 5-step process to get an amazing career. When you share what you know, other people know what you know. And when they know what you know, they trust you in what you know. They trust you. And when people trust you, you have a reputation, right? They trust you. When they need what you know, they call you and not someone else. All right? So when you share what you know, visibility. When you share what you know, other people know what you know and trust you in what you know. And so you have a reputation, right? So when they need you, when they need what you know, they call you, right? So skills are fundamental, yes, because if you don't have skills, you can't build trust, right? You can't have visibility if you don't have the skills. The skills are important, but if you don't talk about your skills, if you don't show your skills, no one trusts you. And if people don't trust you, you have no reputation. And without reputation, your career stops. Make sense? So, questions. I know I said we're going to be interactive. Then there's no questions, right? So I want to get, we still have quite some time here. I want to ask you, so what is the biggest challenge you're facing in your career right now? What is the biggest thing that you want to achieve? And so we can apply this thing here to your career. So tell me, what is the biggest challenge or the biggest dream that you have in your career right now? So what is the biggest dream? Okay, so Ashwin says that I've only recently begun my Java journey. So my question to you, Ashwin, is tell me, you just become your Java journey. I mean, is Java like your first programming language, or you're already a professional? Tell me who you are in terms of profession, right? It's, you're doing something else, you're doing Java now, or, or you're already, or you're a student at university and you're just learning Java right now. So tell me, Ashwin, what is your situation right now? Because depending on your situation, there's a complete different answer in terms of specialization, right? So tell me, Ashwin, what is your current situation right now? So who else? Who else has? Tell me, write on the chat, guys. I want you to write in the chat. Tell me, what is your biggest dream? I mean, other profession. That's a good point. So what is your other profession, Ashwin? Can you tell me what it is? Because here, a couple important things. If you're just starting a software development, don't specialize in anything, right? Don't specialize. There's no reason for you to specialize. Oh, I'm going to be a front-end developer. I'm going to be a back-end developer. When you're starting software development, do everything you can, right? Join any project you can, because the more projects you join, the more things you do, the better the value you get, right? So you don't have to specialize in anything. Software development, it's a specialization by itself, right? Look, we only have about 1/4 of 1% of the population are software developers. We are a tiny little group, tiny, very, very tiny. 1/4 of 1% of the population is software developers, right? And so that means that you already very specialized, Ashwin, right? So if you're very specialized, then then doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be very specialized, right? So don't be afraid of doing everything, because that's not a problem, right? So now, when you're moving from another profession into software development, Ashwin, then here's the thing. You have to bring everything with you. Whatever you did before, right? Doesn't matter, right? You know, oh, I was a supermarket cashier, right? I mean, a cash register in a supermarket, right? I was, giving people their money, and, charging people for money. I mean, whatever, right? So I was whatever. I was talking the other day, Ashwin, to a security guard in a shopping center, right? And he asked me, what do I do to enter the software development? Say, bring everything with you. Bring your knowledge that you have today into software development. Why? Because if you have, let's say you have 5 years as a security guard in a shopping center, right? So you already know a lot of things, right? You know security problems, security companies, maybe security softwares, right? So if you become a developer on the security area, you get everything that you learned before to apply to your new job, and then you can be a better developer by using your past life, by using your past experience, by using your past profession, right? So don't worry about right now, Ashwin. You don't have to specialize in anything. Just work in whatever you can, right? Do software for yourself, do software for your family, do software for your school, do software for, for the company near you. Write code every day and use your past experience to enter into the market. Make sense? So if you want to tell me, Ashwin, if you want to tell me more about what you do, I can be more specific about what the problem that you're trying to solve. Make sense? All right. So I1 says, please hire me. I need a job immediately. That's good. I understand. I understand your desperation, man. I understand that you really need a job immediately. And I sympathize with that. But here's the problem with what you just wrote right there, Ian. Here's the problem. I don't know you, right? So you didn't give me any visibility in what you do. You just say, hire me. That's not visibility. What I think is you're desperate, right? So I don't hire desperate developers. Why? Because it's very hard to trust someone that's desperate, right? So instead of you saying, hire me, say something. Say what you do. Say how you can help me, right? And I'm not saying me, because, I don't have a team right now, right? So I'm not hiring anyone. But, if you don't show people what's the problem that you solve, Ivan, basically what you're telling me is that you need me to solve your problem. And I cannot solve your problem. But maybe you can solve my problem. Maybe you can solve someone else's problem, and then they're going to want to hire you. So make sure that you are visible, not as a desperation person, but as someone that can help. Because if you can help me, I trust you, and then you have a reputation, and that's good. Make sense? So I understand that you're desperate right now. I understand that. Not a problem, right? It's not a problem to be desperate. But when you have nothing, that's a phrase I learned from a guy called Adam Rifkin. He says, when you have nothing, look around and find someone that you can help. Find someone you can make a connection with, so you can help them. And then you have something. Okay, make sense? So Yasser says, I'm a computer science student. I'm learning DSA through C++ and Java parallel. Okay, that's good, Yasser. So what is your big goal? What do you want? That's great, man. so if you are a computer science student, right? So let me just put here. I created this little video here. Is okay, so I'm gonna put in the chat here is jav.mn/junior dev. So here is the video that I did explaining what is the most important step for junior developers like you, Yasser. So you can take a look. You can take a look there, right? Sir, I'm explaining. I'm planning to work in ID industry right now. I had completed my studies in 2021. Okay, so I'm not sure the question from Tusi is, but yes, you know, if you just complete your studies in 2021, right, and you want to get into the industry right now, that's the video. What's the most important step for a junior developer? I can summarize it here really quick. So the most important step for you is to do things. Go do projects. Do projects for you, for your family, for your brother, for someone that you know, for the company near you. Doesn't matter. Go write code every day, right? Go solve problems every day. I'm a software developer in Java, right? And .NET for 5 years, right? Okay, so Iwan, so what do you want, Iwan? Okay, so you're a software developer right now. So what's your challenge? What's the problem, right? So I love the fact that you're a 3-year Java developer, 3-year .NET. So 5 years of career, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. Look, there's some important milestones in our career. 5 years of career is a very, very important milestone. Very important. You know why? Because every 5 years, we double the number of developers. So, so Iwan, right now, because you have 5 years of career, you are on the top half of the developers. There's half of the developers have less experience than you. Isn't this amazing? Right? That you are on the top half, right? 5 years from now, you're going to be on the top 1/4 of the developers. 15 years from now, you're going to be in the top 1/8 of the developers. So you are in a very, very good moment, Ian, because now half of the developers in the world know less than you do. Isn't it amazing? Right? So very, very good moments, man. Sir, Anmon says, oh, so Amon makes a question here. I learned Java language fundamentals already. So to improve further, what should I do next to get a job? Well, the most important thing that you got to do is get a job, right? Should I wait and learn more and then go? No. You get a job right now. Amon, the most important thing for you to grow in your career is to get a job. There's nothing going to teach you more than getting a job. So get a job doing software development and start there, right? So don't be waiting to get a job. Get a job as soon as you can. Go work for someone. Go solve some kind of real problem. Just working in your own head, that's not going to help, right? Even if it is a job that you don't get paid for. If you can wait, like you're saying, Amo, if you can wait, go work on open source project. That's a way for you to get a job, to participate, to do software today, even though no one is paying you, right? So go work on it. Go work on it. Go start working right now, man. Don't wait for it. I have learned core Java from YouTube, and I don't have any certification currently. Well, you can't learn Java from YouTube, man. Sorry, you can't. The only way for you to learn Java is to do code. If you're not doing software projects, then you're not learning Java, right? So go do software projects, all right? So I just noticed that I think we're supposed to end right now, right? But I was thinking I had 1 hour, right? So I'm just gonna go for 6 more minutes and then we finish here, okay? So yeah, so hello, sir. I started my career with Android development, right? Then moved to web development in Java. That's great, awesome. But that's why my knowledge in Java Spring is not up to the mark. Oh yes, don't worry about this, right? How can I become more skillful developer in Java and Spring? Go do Java and Spring projects. So one thing that you have to understand is that everything you did, your Android development, it's useful, right? Use that to keep growing. Don't ignore the fact that you were a mobile developer before, right? Lots of people think that because I changed a programming language or because I changed my focus or something like this, then I have to go back to zero. No, you don't, right? Everything you did worked. So go work. My suggestion, go work on a Spring project that has a mobile component to it. Every software those days has mobile components, right? So be the person that understands both the Spring and mobile, and that's going to get you in a better position, right? So provide the link that you had made for beginners. I did, right? So I'm going to put in the chat again. So hopefully you guys can see. Oh, I'm just sorry. I'm just sending to the panelists. I'm going to send to everyone. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so that's junior developers, junior devs, right? Sorry. Okay, so now is the link here. Okay, that's the link for junior devs. Good. Thanks for let me know. Okay, I'm gonna put it here. All right, so people know. Okay, junior developers. All right. Ion says I also practice a lot. That's great, Ion. That's what you need. Practice a lot. Do codes. I have done that. That's great, right? I have practiced by writing codes. Okay, I didn't solve your problem. You're gonna solve your own problem, man. Thanks, Washington. That's good. All right, so Magash says, this is Magash from Chennai. So thanks, Magash. That's awesome. I'm a salesperson, right, in banking. I like personal loan department. Okay, I would like to learn programming language. Which language is best for the future? Okay, that's a good question. So Magash, here's the thing. If you're a salesperson in the banking industry, you're in an awesome position, right? Why? First of all, most developers don't know how to sell, and you do, right? So that's great. So you have a skill that most developers don't have, right? So that's a good thing. The second thing, I'm sure, Magash, that you use some kind of software. You don't do sales without using some kind of software. So you know some software, and maybe you're using the software done by your own company, right? So my suggestion that you start by trying to figure out how your company developed the software you're using. Or if your company doesn't develop the software you use, if there is software like the software you use in the market as open source, for example, because it doesn't matter which language you're going to start, but if you can start with a project that you already know. So for example, let's say you're using a lot of spreadsheets, right? So take a look at open source spreadsheets in the market, because then you can learn how to develop a spreadsheet, because that's the software you know how to use. If you learn to develop a software you know how to use, that's a lot easier for you to learn how to develop software. Make sense? Right? Someone says you don't know C or C++, you can't understand Java. That's not true, Magash. Not true at all, right? Java is a programming language that you can learn from scratch. It's actually one of the most used language to teach new beginners, right? So yeah, so you don't need to learn C and C++. Don't worry about that at all. Seriously. All right. So what else? Okay, so I'll look for a job or internship, right? Yes. Yes, go look for a job internship. That's great. Okay, thanks. I'm practicing a lot. How to learn Java microservices. Okay, Sachin, if you want to learn Java microservices, you have to go do a Java microservice project. That's all you got to do. So think about how and why should you do a microservice project for you, right? For your friends. You know, look at some microservice projects on the internet that exist, right? So, you know, by the way, there's a good friend of mine, Vipin. Okay, let me see if I can find his project here. If you want to do Java microservices, I'm gonna get Vipin's project here. Just give me 1 second here. So Vipin is a guy from India, right? Vipin Sharma. He gave a talk with me here in the past, right? On my last time here, Starof Java, Vipin was here with me. And Vipin, okay, so where's here? So Vipin has a open source project. It's a microservice generator. All right, so let me just gonna open the link here so I can copy for you. So Vipin has a microservice generator, MSG, right? He's doing an open source project there for India. So you want to learn microservices? So go here to Vipin's project, right? Just put the link right there. It's the microservice generator from Vipin Sharma. Go there, read his code, learn from his code, contribute back to Vipin. And that is a great way for you to have an amazing job, right? Okay. If we learn Java, if we learn Java, I have an experience with Spring and Spring Boot. That's good. All right. So that's not really a question, but if we learn Java, then it's easy to learn other programming languages. Yes, it is, Toots. Yes, it is. So any programming language, we're going to get you to learn, easier to learn other programming languages. Okay, guys, I think I answered all the questions, and I'm out of time here a little bit. You know, it says I have 15 more seconds, but that's enough for me. So if you want to be a rock star developer, if you want to be a superstar developer, you have to create a reputation. For you to create a reputation, you have to do projects to get your skills. You have to be visible in the market so people trust you, and then you have a great reputation. That is what's going to get you an amazing career. Okay, so thanks everyone. Thanks everyone from Starof Java. Thanks everyone that's here with me. It was an amazing conversation. Thanks a lot. So Sashi, back to you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Bruno. Excellent session. Enjoyed every minute of it. You know, we started a little late, but I think, you know, we made it up, you know, because we took like 10 minutes over, but that's a very, very interesting session. And, you know, like you said, you know, programmers typically tend to work on the harder aspects of their, you know, expertise, which is the skills, the programming skills, but that's just the baseline. And then, you know, the software aspects, you know, the trust, the skills, the reputation, visibility, and all of that, I think soft is hard, you know. So thanks a lot for putting together a very, very engaging session. Really, really enjoyed it.
Thanks a lot, Sashi. So Sashi, you know, can I just talk a little bit about this whole thing about soft skills and hard skills that you just mentioned there?
Yes.
You know, I like to say this, right? Because skills is so important, right? And I worry when developers say the thing that you just said there, right? Because a lot of people think that hard skills are the technical skills, right? The programming language and all that. And so I should be really focused on the hard skills because that's what's going to make a difference for me. And then I can't forget the soft skills because the soft skills are communication skills. But that's not even true, right? Hard skills are not hard because they're difficult. They are hard because they're precise. So the hard skills are not, you know, hard skill, for example, typing on the keyboard. That is a hard skill. It's a precise skill. You know, you have to be very precise on how you move your fingers, right? To type fast on the keyboard. So typing on the keyboard is a technical skill because it has a technique. That's why a hard skill has a technique. So you put your fingers in the right place and then you use the right fingers to type the key. That's a technique that you have to learn. Now, what I'm saying is this, Sashi, because software development, it's not a technique. Software development is actually a soft skill, right? Programming language, typing on the keyboard, Java is a programming language. Those are hard skills because they are precise. But software development itself, it's a soft skill. And as developers, we need to learn the most important soft skills ever. That is software development. So, because soft skills are malleable skills. They're not hard because they're not precise. They're soft because they're malleable. And there's nothing more malleable than software development. So if we developers, we only think, oh, I need to learn the hard skills because software development is a hard skill, we miss the most important skill that we need, that is software development, and that is a soft skill. All right. So yes, I totally agree with you, Sashi. We should not be afraid of the soft skills because the thing that we do every single day, solving problems, is a soft skill. Software development is a soft skill. The things we do every single day are malleable, soft skills. Make sense? So with that, man, thanks a lot for the opportunity. It's so good to be here with you. Hope I can come back in the future.
Absolutely.
And maybe, hopefully, one day I can come there with you, man. and be there together at Starof in India. How about that? That would be cool.
Absolutely. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. We could do like a big event and then you'll see the hordes of Indian programmers there. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You know, if we can make that happen, let me know and we can put in the calendar and just make it happen. So, you know, however we can do that, let's make it happen.
Absolutely. I'll reach out separately on that. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. That's great.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks
All
a
right,
lot,
for everyone
Bruno.
else, thanks a lot for here. I see lots of thank you. So thanks a lot. It's great to be here with you. And hopefully I can be there in person someday.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Bruno. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay.